Rotary Club of Pasig since 1971, he has since then served as district governor in RY 2006 to 2007 and became a director of Rotary International from RY 2018 to 2020, a position held by only 4 Filipinos previously. A very successful businessman who founded the 44 international company conglomerate MEG Group of Companies, he is known far and wide for his generosity and full support to the Rotary Foundation. He is now a member of the Foundation Circle of the Archclump Society. Here to address us this afternoon, the pride of RI District 3800, and most certainly RI Presidential Material, past Rotary International Director Rafael Garcia III.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Transforming District Governor Anthony Tony P. Parungaw, immediate past District Governor Nelson Aspe, District Governor-elect Oji Soliman, District Governor nominee Bobby Tanyag, District Governor designate Pope Solis, other Rotary dignitaries, fellow Rotarians, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from San Francisco, California, where I am having my COVID-19 vaccines. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you at this 2021 Virtual District Conference of District 3800. Let me speak to you tonight about leaving a legacy of giving as you give to the Rotary Foundation or any other beneficiary organization of your choice. At the Ateneo de Manila, I was taught to memorize and recite the prayer of St. Ignatius of Loyola, which goes something like this. Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as you deserve, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for reward, save that of knowing that I am doing your will. This was hammered into our heads and hearts along with the Ratio Studiorum, as we were taught to be men for others. But let me ask you, how do you leave a legacy of giving? Do you set up a Gift of Life project which operates on children with holes in their hearts? Or do you work with organizations like Operation Smile or Alliance for Smiles, both of which help children with cleft lip or cleft palate deficiencies? Operation Smiles, started by Dr. Bill and Kathy McGee in the city of Naga in the Philippines 38 years ago. It is now in over 150 countries and has performed over 200,000 operations that have changed so many children's lives. Or do you give to a foundation like the Rotary Foundation, which will make sure your money is used for the eradication of polio, or the putting up of potable water sources where none is available, or the setting up of peace and conflict resolution throughout the world? How do you leave a legacy? By operating on the cleft lip or cleft palate of a child? Is that leaving a legacy? Can you imagine the lives that you change when you transform these children from objects of ridicule and rebuke to normal human beings? Aside from the physical transformation, you work on their psyche and make them realize that they are no longer ugly. Then you work on their speech and teach them how to speak properly, now that they no longer have a deformity that prevents them from speaking correctly. Anytime you change people's lives, you leave a real legacy. I myself decided that I would leave a legacy by giving to the Rotary Foundation. I started my journey of giving in 2006 when I finally agreed to be the club president of the Rotary Club of Pasig after being a Rotarian in name only for 35 years. Along with two other generous Pasig Rotarians, we became major donors. The first time 3 major donors were in the same club in District 3800. But is that it? Is that how you start a legacy of giving? When do you give? Why do you give? When does your giving become a legacy? But do you know that every journey of giving starts with a journey of asking? And when I ask the Lord to help me with my needs, I only ask that He gives me enough. So if He gives me more than enough, I know that He wants to use me as a conduit to give to others. What He gives me is not all meant for me. I have to share what is more than what I need with others. I have often quoted the late Pastors to Governor Mustain Jadzali, the first Arts Clump Society member from Indonesia, who said something that really touched me during one of his speeches. And he said, "Given you shall receive, you are enriched by what you give, you are impoverished by what you keep." He said that when we reach a position when we have more than what we need, we must say to the widows and orphans and the destitute in our communities to come and invoke their rights over a portion of our wealth, because this is our duty and our responsibility. This is why I started giving and have continued to give to the Rotary Foundation. I learned that giving to the Rotary Foundation touches and changes so many people's lives. The more you give, the more God gives back to you so that you can continue to help others. There was only one Filipino AKS member in 2006 when I was club president of the Rotary Club of Pasig. 10 years later, in 2016, there were already 7, beginning with Don Angelo King and Don Emilio Yap, both philanthropist industrialists, but neither Rotarians. Then PASRI Director Paing and Melia Chonova of District 3830 became the first Filipino Rotarian members of the Arts Clump Society. Minda and I followed them in 2011 when I was District Governor of District 3800. In 2014, then RI President Gary C.K. Wang convinced me to become the first Filipino Rotarian in the church circle of the Arts Clump Society, giving $500,000 to the Rotary Foundation. In 2018, when he was a TRF trustee chair, he again convinced me to be the only Filipino in the foundation circle, giving $1 million. Didn't you wonder where I got the money in the first place? Some of you knew me when I was just a professional brain for hire. I was just a mercenary, a gun for hire. How was I able to afford to give millions to the Rotary Foundation? I was able to afford it because God gave me back many times what I would give, because He could see the good I was doing to so many people. I was not a noted philanthropist. I earned a simple living developing IT systems. But I still managed to walk among the giants and gave even more than they had given, because God had given me the means. Now my family has 3 AKS members, with my son Rami and my son-in-law Nick Guzman joining me in my journey of giving. We are the only family in Rotary with 3 members in the Arts Clump Society. Aside from my family, District 3800 is proud to have Pastors to Governor Tony Ko and his spouse, Pastors to Governor Marilu Ko, in the Arts Clump Society. Marilu is the only female Rotarian to be District Governor twice. In 2019, Pastors to Governor Benny and Nona Ricafort finally joined the Arts Clump Society, making District 3800 one of the most generous supporters of the Rotary Foundation, with 5 AKS members. Aside from giving to the Rotary Foundation, I built the 159-unit RC Pasig GK Village in 2006. At that time, the largest Rotary-assisted housing project for informal settlers. Now I am building the 3-story Pasig Rotary Medical Center for the Poor, which will provide free medical services. Unlike other hospitals where you must first prove that you can pay In this hospital, you have to prove that you cannot pay to get served. For years, I used to provide a few 100,000 pesos monthly to the Sapak farm in Compostela, Cebu, to help feed and educate 250 poor street children. Unfortunately, Father Emmanuel Non passed away in 2016, and Ateneo decided to give up the facility to Don Bosco. In Davao, I used to provide funds for the Daily Bread program of Father Bob Hogan, my high school physics teacher in the Ateneo. Father Bob's Daily Bread program, gave a free meal to poor Muslim scholars. Fortunately, Ateneo de Davao chose to provide funds to take over the Father Bob's Daily Bread program now that he is in the Ateneo Lucas Infirmary in his old age. I have now diverted the funds I was using for the Sapak farm and the Daily Bread program to put up the One Philippines, which looks for unsung heroes who help people in their communities. I am committed to fund this project for as long as I am alive. My final legacy of giving to Rotary is my $1 million donation to help in the renovation of Paul and Gian Harris' home in Comley Park in Chicago, where the largest room in the house has been named after a Filipino Rotarian. I encourage all of you to start your own legacies of giving, your own foundations of choice. You can also look for people who need your help, or people who have been helping others who could do more good with your help. Leave a legacy of generosity. Let people remember you for what you did in this life and the lives that you touched and changed. In Rotary, we are encouraged to live by the motto of service above self. Whatever you choose, leave a legacy of giving and doing good in this world. God bless you all. Thank you and good evening.
Good afternoon. It's DS